So thank you so much for joining us. For those of you who I've not yet met, my name is Paul Wright and I'm the Chief Commercial Officer for the Australian British Chamber of Commerce. May I start proceedings by acknowledging the traditional custodians of the land on which we meet today. As I'm based here in Sydney, that would be the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation, and I'd like to pay my respects to their elders, past, present, and emerging. So we're delighted to welcome you all for our final virtual Meet the Member event of 2025. These events, for any of you that maybe have not joined these events before, these events were first designed during COVID, when obviously we're all in lockdown. We weren't able to do physical events. We had to find a way of our members being able to interact with each other. And so we came upon this idea of virtual networking. And what we really wanted to be able to get out of this is to find out a little bit more, get a face to the brand of our chamber members, find out a bit more about them, their company, service that they offer, and most importantly, who they're wanting to connect with. What I'd love is for the rest of our chamber members and guests on this call, even if one of our speakers that is presenting today, even if their company is maybe something that is a service that maybe you can't really utilize, what I would implore you to do is to be able to listen to them, engage with them, and really sort of think about maybe people that you could introduce to them as well. I think as a chamber, we're only as successful as what our chamber members allow us to be. And so we want to have as much interaction between all of our members, not just here in New South Wales, not just in Victoria, but across the entire country as well as overseas. This session is going to be recorded as well. So this is released on our YouTube channel, which then goes out obviously to all of our big database across the world as well. So we've got 9 wonderful speakers for us today. Each one of them is going to have just a little bit over 3 minutes each to be able to give a bit of an overview about their companies. What I would like to say is that for everybody to obviously keep themselves on mute. If you do have any questions, we will be doing a Q&A at the very end of the session, but I would definitely implore you all to utilize the chat box facility that's inside here as well. We'd love to see as much interaction taking place, and obviously while people are talking, chat going on inside there as well. We really want to make this as fun and as interactive as possible to really, build up some new business partnerships. So we're going to have a wonderful session. It's our final session of the year, so I want to make sure it's the most successful session yet. So maybe we'll start with our first speaker. From Unita, we have Melanie Kelsall. Melanie is the founder of Unita, based over in Perth. And Melanie, your 3 minutes start now.
Thanks, Paul. So my name's Melanie. I'm from United EU Partners in HR. So I set up the organisation in 2022. So what I'm passionate about is all things employment. So in Australia, there's a lot of organisations that don't understand what HR does and what it's there for, and sometimes people don't like HR, I'll be honest, but I'm out to change all of that. So there's a lot of complexity in Australia in terms of the legislation, so we're an expert in that, and I'm very passionate about organisations that can thrive. So we really try to break all of it down and keep it simple. And I've got over, showing my age now, nearly 30 years experience in HR. So started out in the UK. I did 15 years with a retail and organisation, Sainsbury's, for those that know it, did all my management training with them, and then moved to Australia in 2010. So I've got aviation experience, health, also non-for-profit, disability and aged care. So in terms of services that we offer, so we support a number of different organisations across different sectors, because I've been lucky enough to get different sector experience. But I also want to engage with organisations that want to treat employees well, but want to create really great cultures. And that's what I'm keen and interested in, and helping organisations to navigate some of that complexity in terms of legislation. So we also do checks in terms of award compliance. We create policies, we help with conflict resolution, training, leadership. So we're very much a coach to organisations. So an organisation will have a HR partner, and we really coach and guide the organisation through all of that and help them navigate some of those complexities. I was lucky enough to meet the Attorney General recently, and I did tell him how complex the system was, and I'd love to see some change. So I really try to advocate in that space, and just try and lead organisations, because a lot of organisations, particularly the smaller ones, they're quite nervous about employing people, and I'm quite passionate about trying to change that mindset with people as well, particularly organisations. And I've been lucky enough, had some big roles in some big organisations, so I know what works and what good looks like, and I'm very passionate about people being treated fairly, but also that we comply with specific legislation as well. Thanks, Paul.
Sorry. Oh, fantastic. Thank you so much, Mel. And you were still 30 seconds left on the
Oh,
clock. That's wonderful. Thank you so much. It's great to hear about the service that you offer. And as you've said, I think that we'd all agree inside any organization, the most important aspect of any organization is their people. And it's about having those right systems in place and that
mm,
HR platform in place, no matter if you're an SME or a large multinational. So it's such a valuable service that you offer. So thank you so much, Melanie. Our next speaker is Mr. Terry Umans. Terry is the Director of Sales and Marketing for the beautiful Paradox Hotel here in Sydney. Terry, your 3 minutes, sir, start now.
Great, thanks, Paul. Good to be here with you, and good to be able to reach out to everybody. And I guess one of the exciting things that's happened for us this year, hopefully many of you know what was formerly the Radisson Blu Plaza Hotel in Sydney. We went through an identity change basically this year. We rebranded as of the 1st of July. And just to give a bit of context to what that means and what we're about is, so we're a heritage style hotel located in CBD of Sydney, corner of O'Connell, Pitt and Hunter Streets. So if those of you have seen, it's quite a memorable facade. And so this hotel was, it's about 160 years old. The original building was the Fairfax newspaper headquarters for about 100 years. Then the building became Bank of New South Wales, ultimately Westpac office building for 50 odd years. And then our owners bought the hotel in the late 90s and we opened as a hotel in 2000. So for 25 years, this hotel has been managed by Radisson Hotel Group. And our owners who own now a portfolio of hotels had decided about 5 years ago to launch their own brand. So as they different hotels management contracts, so we were managed by Radisson for all those years. When that contract was expiring, we went through a rebranding process. So come 1st of July this year, anyone who was in-house or checked in on the 30th of June as the Radisson, from the 1st of July when they checked out as the Paradox Sydney. And it's been a really great process, because one of the messages that we really tried to get across to everybody was that as much as the brand and the name had changed, it was all very cosmetic. The people, the service, everything that people had come to know about our hotel remained the same. I've been with the hotel for 10 years. Our doorman's been with the hotel for 23 years. So there's a lot of history, a lot of really great comfort in the hotel. So, whether you're a local, in the city and you walk past the hotel every other day, the same faces there at the door, and if you've been a guest with us, whether it's for a conference, staying in the hotel, a drink in the bar, coffee at the lounge, we've still got that great service. And one of the key parts of our brand and being Paradox now is that we're very much a local community-based business, so part of our mission is really to become your local partner. So again, whether you've got people coming and going into Sydney and needing accommodation, whether you need a space for a meeting or an event, or as I say, we get a lot of local business people who just come in and have their meetings, interviews, coffee catch-ups, etc., in our fax bar in the lobby. So we're sort of a really central located building, and we really want to try and engage with people. So being a member of the chamber is a great opportunity as well to get all of your contacts, and look forward to having you contact and reach out if we can help you in the future. Thanks, Paul.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Terry. And so it's absolutely beautiful property, heritage listed building, absolutely gorgeous. Just down the road from our offices here, actually. So, and Terry and his team take such great care of us. So thank you so much, Terry. Our next speaker is Mr. Antoine Dennis. Antoine is the General Manager for Australia and New Zealand at BP Pulse. And Antoine, your 3 minutes, sir, start now.
Thanks, Paul. Hi, everyone, and great to be part of this call as the last one of the year. You probably know about BP as a global integrated energy company selling oil and gas and a few other things, and now actually starting a business for EV charging in Australia. So similar to what we offer in the UK and other parts of Europe, as well as China and the US. We launched this business about 2 years ago now, where we are offering fast and ultra fast public EV charging for those in the public that decide to transition from a regular combustion engine to an electric vehicle. And as BP, we support the transition of mobility. So it's been a great journey. What we have now in Australia so far is about 500 bays across 150 locations. So we're now doing at scale charging as well, where we do a minimum of 6 bays, which really gives us a sense of redundancy for our customers, making sure that they have a reliable and available charger when and if they need a charge. So what we're looking in terms of what we're looking for in terms of this network is twofold. We've actually deployed a lot of our chargers on BP-owned sites, which people know, they know where they are, they know how to access them. But as we know that people are looking for more charging opportunities along their journey, we're also looking for potential land partners. So thinking about commercial centers, thinking about malls, thinking about big assets coming off the ground. We've started deploying chargers in those places as well, in particular in ACT, and more of those coming closer to home as well in Victoria and in New South Wales. So we're happy to operate and manage the facilities for those land partners and really bringing our expertise in bringing those chargers to life. The second one is around what we call potential partnerships as well, and serving your own customers in getting preferential EV charging. So currently we have, to give you an idea, partnerships with Uber, for example, or AGL in Australia, where we are offering preferential charging for the customers of those companies. And we're looking at doing more of those partnerships in market as well as we deploy more chargers, again, to facilitate the end-to-end transition of mobility. So it's been a great journey so far. And then next time you're at BP, you can have a look at our chargers. You can enjoy a good coffee, potentially a good pie as well. And then please get in touch if you want to discuss more about EV and energy. I think I'm bang on 3 minutes now. Oh, you're on mute, Paul.
On mute, Paul. Paul, you're on mute.
You think I've done this enough for like the last couple of years that maybe I'd think about this sort of stuff, but thanks, Wayne. I kept wondering then, I was like, who's interrupting me while I'm trying to talk? Now, what I was saying, that's what is, thank you so much again. I do actually have somebody I need to introduce to you that was very interested to learn more, so I'll do that in a separate email, but thank you so much again. I'm just going to keep myself off mute now for the rest of the program. There we go. So our next speaker is Mr. Max Mamo. Max is the Corporate Solutions Executive over at Corporate Alliance Services, or Corporate Alliance Group, sorry. So Max, your 3 minutes, sir, and you're not going to talk about cricket, which is wonderful. Your 3 minutes start now.
Thanks for the introduction, Paul, and I promise I won't. I'll save that for the lunch on Friday. G'day, everyone. Max here from Corporate Alliance. We are a freshman in the ABCC this year, and basically we do a couple of things in the finance world. First one being foreign exchange risk management. So that's your standard importers, your exporters. You know, you might have an importer that needs to bring in, let's say, for example, one of our clients brings in $40 million worth of cabling from China to supply the M4 and all the new roadworks every year. So for them, their margins might be razor thin. And if the Aussie dollar goes down compared to the US in between those 2 to 3 months until the cargo hits the shore, it can really put them in a pickle with their margins. So they come to us, we fix the rate for them, protect their profits, nice and easy. So in terms of what we're looking for from the network in that space is really just building partnerships. You know, I know a lot of the businesses on this group might not be doing foreign exchange directly, but people always know other people. And so we try and really do some generous revenue share agreements. And, you know, we have an army of businesses on our book that hopefully we can introduce you to as well. And more recently in the business, we've actually become a member of AusPayNet. For those that don't know what that is, it means that we have our own BSB number. So we've actually started to service a lot more money service businesses, payroll companies, basically any business that needs to have a lot of money going in, being reconciled, and a lot of money out, API driven. We can sort of service that as well. And then on the side, we do a bit of trade finance. So if you're a company doing some overseas payments and maybe you want to put a bit of cash aside to buy some more inventory or build a warehouse and you need a little extra oomph, we can do some unsecured trade finance up to about 250 grand for you. So that's really it. It's been great. I think I've met a few of you at a few events, but looking forward to meeting more as the years come by.
Fantastic. Thanks for, oh God, that was underneath 2 minutes there, Max. My goodness. There we go. Fantastic. Thank you so much, Max. Yeah, Max, I loved your when you were at the trade show, the business show, the big money grab sort of stall that you had there was awesome. But yeah, now look forward to engaging with you further. And as you say, it's delighted to have you guys as new members of our chamber as well. So thank you so much, Max. Our next speaker is Mr. Wayne Herbert. Wayne is the founder and CEO of AI Assets. Wayne is an Aston Villa fan. Don't ask him about that. And Wayne, your 3 minutes to start now.
Well, just say we're above you in the league. That's good enough. Thanks, mate. Yeah, thanks, everyone. Nice to meet you all. So, AI Assets, we're a PropTech solution, so property technology. We focus on primarily digital asset registers for property. So when you think of all the physical assets of a property, from carpets to the downlights to the air conditioning systems, the hot water systems, we capture all of that data. It's largely held in Excel sheets or not held at all for a lot of clients. We're still, even in this day and age, they don't have asset registers. So we basically work on a reactive type of process where when things break, they get fixed. Our system keeps this asset register live and also then produces life cycle models out of it. So for the next 20 years, you can predict where the spend is required, so capital expenditure, operational expenditure, etc. The core of the asset register as well, it can be used for several different functions. It could be used for depreciation schedules, ESG reporting, risk and compliance, you name it. It's really is the core of any building portfolio. What makes us different is I come from a building consultancy background, so for 20 odd years I've been going out on site capturing all these physical assets myself. So I built the software to try and make it more efficient for me to do my job in the first place. When I actually built it, I realized that it solved a massive industry problem of getting this efficient data. To give you an example of that, Woolworths is one of our clients. We went around every store of Woolies in Australia and New Zealand, but that's their supermarkets, their Big W's, their BWS, their Dan Murphy's, their distribution centres. We asset captured over 2 million assets. So that's taking photographs, that's putting barcodes and QR codes on the assets, it's picking up all the finer detail like make, model, serial numbers, capacities. And we did all of that in just 6 months. So that gives you a bit of a speed of economy type idea there. So we did a calculation. They actually used a different provider to start with. And it's going to take them 2.5 years to do it in the same without using the system. So that's how quick that is. So yeah, client-wise, we're doing a lot of work now with CBRE on data centers, done a number in Japan. We're looking at Malaysia, Singapore, Thailand. We're really expanding into the APAC region with those. We've got clients already in the UAE and the UK, and we're looking to expand into the USA over here as well. So yeah, what we're looking for really is that sort of partnerships, portfolio owners, pretty much anyone who has properties and needs to get on top of their asset database to actually be more proactive and save a hell of a lot of money.
Wow, fantastic. Thank you so much, Wayne. That's wonderful. And maybe even, I don't know, maybe even thinking that, yourself and Antoine could be some good conversations between you guys with the type of, companies or properties that you're dealing with there as well. But no, that's wonderful. Thank you very much, Wayne. And looking forward to some good Q&A with you at the end of this as well. So we're about halfway through at the moment, everybody. So I want people to start thinking of some great questions for our speakers so far. Please, as I say, if you have anything that you'd like to do now, please put it into the chat box as well. Or we'll obviously save that for the Q&A session at the end. So our next speaker is the most networked woman I've ever met here in Australia. Fantastic. Is Jane Thorpe. Jane is the Senior Business Development Manager over at Cloud Print Group. Permanently at a networking event. She's so bloody busy. So thank you very much for giving you your time for us, Jane. And Jane, your 3 minutes start now.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Paul. I don't know about that, but I'll take it anyway. Hi, everyone. Lovely to be here and to meet most of you as a few familiar faces. So yes, I work with a company called Cloudprint Group. I'm the senior BDM. It's not my business, but I treat it like it's my business. Been there for 8 years, and we have an incredible team. Everybody is yes people. They're all very good at what they do, and all have very different skills. What we deliver is offset digital and wide format printing and promotional merchandise, which basically means we cover everything. So from marketing collateral, event and exhibition print, signage, office frosting, office signage, retail point of sale. We cover many different industries. So like we've got clients in retail chains, as I said, corporates, hotels, hospitality, travel, the exhibitors and the exhibition and event holders as well. Conference people, business services, medical, a lot in the medtech space and pharmaceutical, creative agencies. There's printers everywhere, right? So what I'm looking for at the moment, one of the things that we have is a portal which allows us to create reporting for our bigger clients that might either have multiple users. So for example, territory managers in a medtech company, they might have 45 territory managers across Australia. And instead of sending the print to one location, we can actually pick and pack it and send it off to all different locations, which saves them time with freight and money and costs and the whole bit. And we can see very clearly what collateral's used, what's not used. So they've got better awareness for their marketing spend with the next budget. And also for multiple locations. So if somebody has, like franchise companies where they've got 40, 50 stores, Hoyts is a perfect example. They've got 55 locations, and we send out all their pull-up banners and what have you, each campaign to each one. So we can manage all of that. And my team, I know you might hear this from other printers, but I don't know if anyone's as fast as us. We're super fast, we're reliable, consistent. The quality is always next level. So my job is so super easy because everybody does what they're meant to do. Thanks, everyone.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Jane. That's wonderful. Jane, has been a member of our chamber for the last couple of years now, and obviously engaged with so many of our members, which has been fantastic. Obviously, I know that we all, in this printless society, but we are still obviously utilizing a lot of print work, whether it be pop-up banners and everything else you were saying before. So yeah, please do give Jane a call. She's always going to take some great time to have a chat with you and see how she can be supportive. So thank you so much, Jane. Our next speaker is Tim Hoare. Tim is the Partnership and Client Growth Manager over at Attention Experts. And Tim, your 3 minutes, sir. Start now.
Lovely. Thanks, Paul. Nice to meet everybody. So my name is Tim. I work with Attention Experts. If you are unsure of who we are a digital marketing agency based here in North Sydney. What kind of really separates us is from other agencies, we always say, is that we're very much a data-driven agency. Everything we do is built around really driving performance and results. So we always say, if you have two posts, for example, a purple and a green post, and you love the look of the purple post, it's amazing, you think it's really your brand and it feels amazing, but the green post performs better, we push the green post. So really making sure that we drive results, and our whole job is about really driving warm and interested traffic to your point of conversion. So whether that be a lead gen form or your website, that's how we drive success for our clients. And typically at the moment, we don't really work with any industries in specific, because what we make sure we do is we really learn the companies, we get really deep inside through our onboarding process, and then we build our strategies around that. So everything is really built to each client. But I do want to talk about one new product that we recently kind of brought to market in the last year and a half, called Unique Placement Advertising, or UPA. Because typically now with your digital marketing, everyone's looking at Meta, Google, and everyone's kind of got that down, or they're working on improving it. But UPA combines hyper-local targeting for programmatic ads. So it really allows you to remarket through websites and ads on websites, for example, and drive home your messaging and really reduce that timeline for conversions through your other platforms such as Google and Meta. A few different case studies that we've gotten recently, and we've seen even with a client of ours, for example, we actually had their funeral directors, and they use UPA to target hospitals to drive their ads. So, driving around where they might have their target audience in hospitals, for example. We've also had case studies, for example, of law firms actually targeting rival law firms, putting ads on their buildings and driving recruitment ads. So you really tailor it around this. What you can do with it, it's endless. Like, for example, we got asked, can you target the metro train line? technically we can't target the train, but we can target the whole line. So anyone in that line can see your ads. And once they engage with your ad then as well, you're able to remarket back through UPA remarketing, but also then your meta ads, for example, as well. So it's all about really now just diversifying your channels, trying to really get those hyper local, hyper targeted campaigns moving. And UPA is what we're forecasting as kind of the future now going forward. So yeah, if you have any questions on UPA or anything digital marketing, feel free to let me know in the chat, or I will be at the networking event next week as well. So looking forward to meeting everybody.
Fantastic. Thanks so much, Tim. That's wonderful. And yeah, I mean, our chamber, we utilize the service of Attention Experts ourselves as well. Fantastic group over there. Yeah, so look forward to some more Q&A on that as well. Lucy Wilson, thank you very much for your question in the chat box. Just saying, obviously, after the meeting, would it please be possible to share the speakers' names, titles, companies? Yep, after this, we're going to be sending out an email with the contact details for each one of our speakers, because we'd love for people to keep engaging after this session as well. So thank you very much for that, Lucy. Our next speaker, so only two speakers left, so please start thinking of some great questions for some of our speakers so far. So our next speaker is Mr. Rod Grady. There he is. Rod is the Managing Director over at Vescient. Rod, good to see you. Thank you very much for joining us. And Rod, your 3 minutes, sir, start now.
Thanks, Paul. Thanks, everyone. So Vescient is a veteran-owned, Australian-owned company. We've got a small subsidiary in the UK and offices nationally. We're a broad-spectrum, multidisciplinary business. We have digital capabilities, including a full cyber stack and managed secure IT. We have an advisory service line, which deals with strategy, traditional management advisory, operational and business advisory skills. This is everything from leadership through to risk management, ISO support, DISP certification if you're seeking access into defence industry, or for UK and US businesses that are trying to collaborate. And I'll talk a little bit more about that later. We have a P3MO service line. So this is everything from portfolio management down the project management. So we do that across both digital and transformation projects, as well as physical infrastructure. And that ties in with our built environment service line, which is traditional engineering services, civil, structural, mechanical, electrical, comms, and our asset management capabilities, which includes ERP implementations, operational optimization, and asset advisory services. And we do these things across a number of sectors, which includes space, health, energy, resources, oil and gas, and government, both federal, state, and local. And we deliver outcomes across those service lines by packaging a team across our disciplines that meets the requirements of the client's problem. We often get problems that others haven't been able to solve, whether it's recovering distressed projects through to solving problems in Ukrainian iron ore companies. We've delivered a number of projects both nationally and offshore across Africa, Europe, and the Americas. In fact, we've got projects that are across the globe at the moment delivering those outcomes. And we can do secure work up to including top secret. Most of our staff are security cleared. One of the things that we've done, and the reason we're interested in the relationship through both the Australian British Chamber of Commerce and the British Australian Chamber of Commerce, is related to AUKUS enablement. And so we are currently looking to collaborate across UK and US companies and support trade from the UK to Australia, and also to support our trade from Australia to the UK. So that is us, and that's what we do. And I'm certainly open to questions, and I'm certainly interested in any businesses that might want to get involved in projects that we're doing, or if you think we can help you with yours. How's that, Paul? I think I've got 50 odd seconds left.
3 minutes pretty much on the dot. Look at that, military precision. There we go. Thank you so much, Rod. That is absolutely fantastic. And yeah, looking forward to some Q&A at the end with yourself as well. So our final speaker. Yes, I've put you at the very last spot here, Chris, because I've put all the pressure on you to finish it off with a bang. Here we go. Our last speaker is Mr. Chris Nelson. Chris is the festival director for the fantastic Sydney Festival, which is taking place here in Sydney in January. So, Chris, looking forward to hearing more about that. And your 3 minutes, sir, start now.
Great, thank you. I've set the timer. Hello from Gadigal Country. I am Chris Nelson, Festival Director for Sydney Festival. Sydney Festival is in its 50th year this Jan. It is Australia's best and biggest celebration of Australian theatre, dance, music, circus, visual art, installations, parties from artists from around the country and around the world. I've been a festival maker my whole life, and most recently was in London at the London International Festival of Theatre, where I became naturalized and became a British passport holder as well. But I've also directed festivals in Ireland, in Dublin, and worked across the arts in Canada, in Montreal, Vancouver, and all points in between. So I come to Sydney very excited about our city's festival. It is truly one of the best arts events in the world. It's what brought me here. For others of you who are migrants and part of the diaspora, you know how dazzling Sydney can be, and a dazzling, incredible arts festival at its heart is pretty amazing. There are all kinds of ways for you to interact with us, not just as audience members, but as business partners. I'm going to throw a bunch of links in the chat. We weren't allowed a slideshow, but I love to break a rule. So tickets are on sale. You can buy them. We have loads of British work in the festival, including Paris Paloma, who's a voice of a generation, absolutely incredible, stunning feminist artist. Raf Sapira, who is a Punjabi hip hop artist from South London. Dan Daw, a disabled Australian artist. Dance, really interesting work. And Khalid Abdallah, who you might recognize from The Crown, who is has this beautiful one-person show about being growing up Arab during the Gulf War and becoming politicized during the Arab Spring. We have loads of special sponsors and partners, everything from Van Cleef & Arpels joining us this year to a whole range of restaurants. We have a great festival feasts program, copy, paste, and go. And then sponsors, you'll know, we have year-round corporate sponsorship opportunities, all kinds of ways you can advance also your CSR goals. It's one of the most vibrant, exciting volunteer programs that we have in the city. You can reach new targeted audiences. We love to get creative. So if you want to tell a story about a building or a certain part of the city, if you want to back this city's creativity and back our connections with international makers, we can help you tell those stories and put an artist right in the middle of that. We can do on-site activations, exclusive networking events. We've done some wonderful events where Business City, for example, has brought loads of people, and custom corporate hospitality packages. My colleague Tori is here. Canadian time is different than British and Australian time, so I've got 3 minutes 20. But my colleague Tori is here, and she's be more than happy to tell you all about it and answer those kinds of questions. Lucy Wilson, is it too late to be an event sponsor? Tori will be happy to connect with you about that. Thanks so much.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Chris. That's wonderful. I love how passionate you are about the Sydney Festival. It sounds like it's going to be absolutely amazing. I had a look at the program a couple of weeks ago, and the amount of obviously things that you have going on is just tremendous, and obviously just such a diverse range of different sort of great acts and things like that as well. So that is wonderful. Thank you so much, Chris. So that is the end of the formal proceedings, where obviously we've heard from our 9 wonderful speakers. Would love to obviously start opening this up to our attendees or our speakers to obviously ask additional questions as well. If you don't feel comfortable asking it on here, you can obviously put it on the chat bot as well to do it through there. But would love to use the next sort of 15 minutes or so as a good amount of interaction between all of our members and to pick their brains a little bit more. Now, I know that nobody usually likes doing the first question, so maybe I will. And I'll go to our first speaker, Melanie, over at Unita. So, Melanie, obviously, as we said before, HR is one of the most, or if not the most important aspect of any business. The people are the most important aspect of any sort of organization. There are still so many SME businesses out there that feel that they are maybe not big enough to have a HR department or have a HR manager. And there's so many different things that can arise from that with legal proceedings because they haven't done things the right sort of manner, all those sort of things. What would you say? What sort of advice would you give? So I know that you work with large market as well, but what advice would you give an SME about why they should choose a HR provider over the CEO basically just deciding, no, I'm HR?
Yeah, look, it's about having really good conversations, but setting yourself up well from the beginning. So I do help a lot of startups. So it's just real basic, like getting the role design correct. And I tend to work with organizations side by side and do a lot of all design work as well. But what is expected of the role? What capabilities you need in that role? And then actually making sure the recruitment process is done well as well. Because a lot of small organizations, they tend to recruit people that they know and trust. But then as they get bigger, you can't maintain that. That's not sustainable. So it's actually just asking some great questions and then having leading with a really great recruitment process. So, it's not just a tick box. It's actually, checking out the behaviors in the interview. It's, making sure you've got some values based in there, skill set, knowledge, to make sure you get a good outcome. And even just making sure that, it sounds crazy, but the position descriptions are correct. And I know you don't need them unless something goes wrong, but I've got a lot of experience in that and just how you're structured and then how you support that person going forward. Usually when it goes wrong, it's about the expectations are misaligned. So usually the employee has a different expectation of the role, or the employer actually needed something else and they weren't clear about that. So a lot of it comes down to communication expectation. It's really simple. And then there's obviously then tools you need in place to support that.
No, fantastic. So obviously one of the services that you also offer is writing those job descriptions for an organization.
Yeah, absolutely. And making sure the contracts are really sound as well. So, there's lots of, you can go out there and get, obviously contract templates, but there's a lot of key information that you need in them to just make sure that everyone's safe and protected and that it's done well, ultimately, and so you can manage things when it goes wrong. But ultimately, it's just being really clear and transparent and, making sure that people are treated fairly. That's key, I don't think you can have everyone. I always think you can have a difficult conversation, but you set it up well. You do it really respectfully with empathy. Yeah.
Fantastic. Great stuff. Thank you so much, Melanie. Again, if anybody has any questions, please put them in the question box or raise your hand as well. Maybe I'll go to Rodney. So Rod, great, obviously, to understand more about what you guys do. The one thing I just wanted to pick up on is who'd be the type of, everybody that's on the call today, if they're obviously not able to utilize your services, who'd be the type of companies that you want to be introduced to?
Well, it's broad, Paul, because in many interests, we are across a number of sectors and we support a number of different businesses by size and nature in those sectors. So, for example, as Melanie was speaking just then, I was actually thinking about some of the government tenders that we look at where there's elements of HR advice which we have some capacity to provide, but maybe not the depth of capability to support. And so, here is already an element of a network that can go through, for Chris, as an example, though he's left now, Bruce, who's also on the call, has, almost a decade of delivering marketing communications events and those kind of things. And so there's aspects of different parts that we do or different requirements that others do that could plug in. I guess when you think about the nature of our business advisory components, we're supporting literally micro businesses. So, one-man band physios, sometimes a local coffee shop through to, other small to medium enterprises and also up to multinationals. And because we're sort of operating in that range, actually there's a lot of different businesses that either we could either do business with or who could plug into something that we may require because we've got 90% of solution, but not that 10%. So it's really broad. If I was being more focused on answering it from an area of the business that we're specifically interested in with our relationship with the UK as an example, AUKUS is definitely one of those. But if I talk about AUKUS, people think, oh, it's about subs and boats and military stuff. Yeah, well, that's true. But if you're operating in and around South Australia, operating in and around Western Australia, just by example, the society requirements to deliver the support necessary for that defence industrial base is enormous. Childcare, bars, restaurants, housing. So actually, if people are wanting to understand where they can play, well, then yeah, we can certainly help them where they can play in an industry. And it may not be we do actually any business, but it may simply be we can provide an introduction or a referral, just as, you know, that's what you do when you want to create good business. So hopefully that gives you enough generality there.
Yeah, no, it's great. Thank you so much, Rod. That's wonderful. Jane, you put your hand up. Have you got a question?
Yes, a question for Max. Where are you, Max? I've lost you. So we buy directly to China some of our promotional merch because if it's a bigger spend, we get a better price, etc., for our clients. But we don't. Do you have a minimum amount to be using if you were interacting and with exchange rates and what have you? Like,
No, absolutely. We do anyone from, you know, we got businesses doing 10, 20 grand a year all the way up to 2 billion. So sort of anywhere between that is completely fine for us.
Okay. All right, great. I'll get your details.
Yeah, absolutely.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Jane. Maybe I will go next. Yeah, there we go. Tori. So I know that obviously Chris has unfortunately left, but so he's put it all on you to answer any questions that we have. Here we go. So Tori, can you tell us how many visitors are you expecting to go through the festival next year?
Yeah, sure. So in 2025, we actually had 350,000 attendees across all of our events. So that's major ticketed works like our theatre program, our dance program, our music program. But then that also includes like our major public outdoor and free installations and works like that. So like last year we had a few like outdoor like acrobats and things like that in Darling Harbour. This year we're actually going to have Sydney Symphony Under the Stars, which is free to attend. So I highly recommend it. That's beautiful. It's done with Sydney Symphony Orchestra and it'll be a special 50th celebration. But yeah, so about 350,000 is what we expect in total. So
So obviously a lot of eyes on it for anybody that is thinking of becoming a new sponsor.
Yeah, absolutely. And we also have, if anyone is interested, we also do, like Chris very briefly mentioned, corporate hospitality packages. So if anybody is thinking of doing some hosting in January, you can work directly with my team and we can work out some hospitality experiences, some good shows to bring people to, have a nice experience, everything like that.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Tori. That's great. Maybe I will go again because everybody's a little bit too shy to ask some questions. So, Antoine, over there at BP Pulse, you know, obviously there's been a huge shift in the market, you know, obviously now with electronic vehicles, you know, how we're obviously, you know, doing that more and better here in Australia. Do you have any of the data? You know, how are we going in EV versus, you know, the traditional sort of car method? Are we seeing an increase, you know, that's going through EV at the moment?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think year on year, we're up 24% in terms of EV sales. So if you think about where we were in sort of October 24, we were at about 8% of new cars sold were EVs. For 25, we're looking at 12 to 15%, depending on which quarter. So, and then we're predicting sort of a higher double digits. So close to 20% for next year, and then 24, 28, 30% by 2030. So overall, we're expecting about 1 million EVs to be on the road by 2030, which is just around the corner. And then 5 times that in 2035. So that growth curve is sort of exponential, which makes it all the more exciting. And it's just basically based on what we saw in Europe couple of years back. So we're probably where the UK market was in 2022, 2023, which is very exciting.
Does this put added pressure, obviously, on people like yourselves, where those EV charging stations, where I remember, you know, a couple of years ago in the UK that there was a real shortage with the amount of cars that obviously come in, you know, the sort of product and supply. And so you had these huge queues of people. And so then people are wondering, well, is EV better? Or, you know, do we learn from that in the UK? And obviously here in Australia, we then
Yeah, absolutely. I think so. We've been able to add about 500 bays over the last 2 years, which has really helped with that congestion. We see that sort of fear going away in Australia, and now more around the reliability element. So not only having enough locations, but making sure that they work. I think the key difference between Australia and the UK is we're lucky enough to have lots of places where you're able to charge on off-street parking. So a lot of house has got a garage or alleyway where you can plug your car in, versus the UK, where you have a lot higher density residential areas. But we still see, a lot of high rises in Melbourne, ACT, and so on. And a lot of people that charge at home will still need to charge publicly as well. So I think it's a lot of similarities, but also a lot of things that make it very unique in terms of the market. Yeah.
No, fantastic. Great. Thank you very much for your insights there, mate. That's wonderful. Any questions? Oh, Jane?
I have a question for Antoine. Antoine, are you familiar with a company called Chatswood Prestige?
No.
Okay, so he is a client of mine for a long, long time, and he basically is Tesla's main smash repair guy in Chatswood. So, like, he's in fact just bought a whole other building so he can house the Teslas. Is that a good connection for you? Because all of those, they're all electric vehicle owners.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for the intro. I'm happy to talk to him.
Yeah, I'm sure he'd be happy to talk to you. So, yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Jen. As I say, we'll release everybody's contact details so that you can all get in contact, which is good. Maybe I'll go over to Terry, because obviously, Terry, you've gone through such a huge transition. When a hotel has been defined as a specific brand for such a long period of time, and then you've gone to a brand which, no offense, is a brand that maybe isn't as well known here in Australia. What has been the sort of challenges faced with that? Apart from obviously, the easy ones, which would be the loyalty vouchers, the loyalty cards, things like that. What are you now finding is the main sort of challenges that you're faced with?
Yeah, it's a good point, good question, Paul, because it was that whole question of, it wasn't like we went from an international Radisson brand to a Hilton or a Marriott or somebody else. So, it was really about communicating that message and story, particularly to our existing customer base. We did know that we were going to lose an element because of that loyalty component. Whilst Radisson is not the biggest loyalty brand in Australia, it was still a loyalty component. So it was a chunk of our business that we knew would probably go away. So, finding ways to retain those customers, really, diving into our customer profiles and making sure that we, gave a reason why they would continue to come back, even if we didn't have a points program there. And then, the wider question of really, it comes down to, that digital marketing element, because, getting that brand name out there, when things are good in Sydney, we all do well. Like, if you need to find a hotel room, it's just a case of last man standing, book a room at whatever costs. But it's that in-between period where we've got to get the message out, and that's ongoing. That's really rebuilding and building our profile, because the brand is new. Whilst our owners, we've got there are 6 Paradox hotels in the network: Vancouver, us, Singapore, Bangkok's about to come online, Phuket. One in China. We're a bit like a startup, and we're sort of treating it a bit like that as well. So, yeah.
Okay, fantastic. No, it's exciting times though, absolutely. New brand and
Yeah, absolutely.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Terry. Maybe I will ask the last question, because obviously I'm conscious of time, and maybe I will go over to Jane, wonderful Jane Thorpe over at Cloud Print Group. So, as we discussed before, trade shows, all these different things. First thing is, are you guys national?
Yes, we are. Yes.
Perfect. So obviously, if you're in Perth or Melbourne or anything like that, wonderful. Trade shows, there's been so many here in Sydney. There's been so many that's been recently taking place. Max, you obviously did that one with the business show and all those sort of ones. If you were going to give some advice to a company that's obviously going to attend one of these trade shows, and they're looking for that sort of marketing collateral, how do they sort of separate themselves, all those sort of things, you would have seen so many different ones in your time, what attract people, what don't, things like that. What would you say, if you were to give your advice, what would you say is the best way to really add that value to that brand?
Yeah, thank you for the question, Paul. One of the talking pieces that I've seen a lot of clients use, and it's been very helpful from a place of getting back to people, is a video brochure. So when they actually, because the whole point of a stand is to actually, if you've got your promotional products and what have you, and your pull-up banners and your signage and all the rest of it, is to create attention, but then you want to start a conversation. And we found that they've been really, really helpful because what people do, so say if I look at the medtech companies again, say Dexcom's a company we work with, they do diabetes and insulin and blood sugar levels measuring and what have you. So they send them out, and then the territory managers, etc., will go and actually they've got a reason to go and pick it up again and speak to them. So they've been real talking, because it's something that you're left with. And it's like I don't know what you feel about business cards when you're at events. Like, I personally, as much as I'm a big LinkedIn lover, I still love a business card because I've actually got the details and a reminder for my aging brain to actually follow someone up. So they're really good in that respect, is that you've left, it's something interesting, it's something different.
Wow, fantastic. Yeah, business cards. I still have COVID business cards, from all that long ago. So yeah, absolutely. I'm still trying to get rid of those. But no, thank you so much, Shane. Now, I'm obviously conscious of time, so maybe I will close it off there. So again, allow me to thank our wonderful speakers again: Melanie Kelsall, Terry Oomans, Antoine Dennis, Max Mamo, Wayne Herbert, Jane Thorpe, Tim Hoare, Rod Greedy, and Chris Nelson. It's been fantastic to learn more about you, your company, what we're going to do. As I say again, we're going to release obviously all of our speakers' contact details, so please do link in with them, or get in touch directly. I think there's already been a couple of sort of opportunities here today, which has been great. We'd love to see how people can obviously engage further and really add value with the rest of their companies and clients that they have at the same time. Now, obviously, we're coming up to the Christmas break. This is our last virtual Meet the Member of the Year, so I would like to say thank you, everybody, for everything you've done for our chamber. Over the past 11 months, it will soon be 12 months. It's been wonderful working with you. We still have a few more events taking place though before the end of the year. There is a little cricket match taking place at the moment where, thank you very much, Max. We're not doing too well, but we always like to make it interesting towards the end. So we've just done our wonderful Ashes lunch in Perth, which was absolutely fantastic. Brisbane's taking place tomorrow, obviously a little bit late for people that want to go to that one, but then we still have Sydney on Friday. We have Melbourne on the 2nd December as well. Christmas parties, everybody's starting to get those Christmas parties invites now, but we have our wonderful one taking place in Melbourne on the 27th of November, here in Sydney on the 3rd of December at the beautiful office of Diageo. Johnny Walker and Tanqueray on tap. Why not? Why don't you come and join us? Absolutely. But next year, really excited about some fantastic events next year, including our International Women's Day breakfast, which are always very much a highlight of our calendar, and they'll be taking place in Melbourne, Perth, Brisbane, and Sydney as well. So please go on our website to have a look at any of our events taking place there. Obviously, if I can ever be of any assistance or support at all, please reach out to me or the rest of our team across Australia. I'd like to thank you all once again for joining us. Thank you to our speakers. If I don't see any of you before the end of the year, wishing you, your family, your friends a very, very Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year, and looking forward to seeing you in 2026 and attending the Sydney Festival in 2026 as well. Very excited about that. So for now, thank you so much again, and have a good evening. Goodbye.
Thanks, Paul. Cheers, everyone.
Thanks, Paul. See you guys.
Thanks, Paul. Well done.
Thank you.